a notorious biker club leader turned international fugitive, accused of smuggling a staggering $40 million worth of cocaine into Australia. It's the tale of Mark Buddle. His journey from crime lord to fugitive will leave you astounded. In this video, we uncover the shocking crimes and relentless pursuits that define Mark Buddle's gripping saga, early life and entry into crime. Mark Buddle was born in 1984 in Marbra, Australia. Growing up in a rough neighborhood, he faced challenges early on. With limited guidance and opportunities, Mark turned to crime as a means of survival. His early offenses landed him in juvenile prison, a place that hardened him and set the course for his future. Instead of being deterred, his time behind bars only intensified his resolve. By the age of 21, Mark had become part of the infamous Comanchero, a notorious biker club with deep ties to Australia's criminal underworld. The Comanchero were involved in various illegal activities, including drug smuggling, extortion, and contract killings. Mark's entry into the club marked the beginning of a life steeped in crime and violence. His early experiences shaped him into a figure determined to make a name for himself, no matter the cost. Climbing the ranks, Mark Buddle's ambition within the Comanchero was unmatched. From the moment he joined, he was determined to climb the ranks. His break came in 2009 when the then leader Mick Koui was arrested after a notorious airport fight that resulted in the death of a Hells Angels club member. With Mick Koui out of the picture, Koui Inc stepped in as the new boss. During this transition, Mark saw an opportunity to increase his influence. He worked tirelessly, proving his loyalty and capability to the club. Mark's ruthlessness and strategic mind set him apart, allowing him to gain significant power within the Comanchero. He became known for his ability to handle complex operations and his readiness to eliminate threats. As his reputation grew, so did his control, setting the stage for his eventual rise to leadership. The ATM Heist and Gary Alibon's murder. On the morning of June 7, 2010, Gary Alibon, a 59-year-old security guard, was doing his job in a cash-in-transit van. He had started his day with a sweet note to his wife Monica before heading out to load $300,000 into ATMs. What was supposed to be a routine task turned into a nightmare. As Gary and his colleague arrived at the Commonwealth Bank, 3 armed men stormed in, demanding they hand over the cash. Following their training, Gary and his colleague complied without resistance. Despite posing no threat, one of the robbers shot Gary in the back, leaving him to collapse to the ground. The robbers grabbed Gary's work-issued firearm and fled in a waiting silver Audi. Gary was rushed to the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital, but died shortly after arrival. Monica and Gary were married for 25 years. Monica learned of Gary's death from the morning news, a heartbreaking end to a normal day. The brutality of the act shocked the community. Authorities quickly offered a $100,000 reward for information, leading to an arrest. The burned-out Audi was found near the commander's clubhouse, a stronghold of the Comanchero, increasing suspicions of their involvement. The murder of Gary Alibon devastated his family and intensified police scrutiny on the club. Detectives believed they knew who was behind the masks, but needed the community's help to solidify their case. The heist and subsequent murder marked a significant turning point in the investigation, putting immense pressure on Mark Buddle and his associates. The Koui Inc Fire. In December 2010, a significant event rocked the Sydney underworld. A firebombing targeted Koui Inc, a tattoo shop owned by Koui Inc and Mark Buddle, along with another partner. Late one night, witnesses saw the shop's front window break, followed by a petrol bomb thrown inside. The resulting blaze forced nearly 30 residents nearby to flee their homes as emergency crews battled the flames. The attack was no random act. It was linked to ongoing club rivalries, particularly between the Comanchero and the Notorious club. Tensions had been high since 2008, when a car belonging to notorious leader Alan Sarkis exploded in an attack believed to be orchestrated by the Comanchero. Over the next 2 years, the clubs clashed repeatedly, each incident escalating the conflict. The firebombing of Koui Inc was seen as a retaliatory strike by Notorious. The deliberate nature of the attack and the danger posed to civilians drew significant police attention. Authorities increased their scrutiny on the Comanchero, connecting the dots between various acts of violence. This heightened police focus put additional pressure on Mark Buddle and his club, complicating their operations and leading to more frequent clashes with law enforcement. Rise to leadership. In 2011, the dynamics within the Comanchero shifted dramatically. Duax Ngakuru, the club's leader, moved to Turkey, leaving a power vacuum that Mark Buddle was eager to fill. With Duax out of the picture, Mark seized the opportunity and took control. His rise to leadership wasn't smooth though. In December 2011, Mark's temper flared during an altercation at the Spearmint Rhino Gentlemen's Club. Around 3 a.m., a brawl broke out after someone insulted Mark's mother. The fight was chaotic, with fists and kicks flying. By the end, one man had lost 2 teeth, and another had a broken hand. This incident highlighted Mark's unpredictable and reckless nature. As a leader, he was volatile, often making impulsive decisions that led to internal strife. Unlike his predecessors, who maintained a semblance of order, Mark's leadership style was more erratic. He kept a tight inner circle and showed little regard for those outside it, fostering resentment among the ranks. The club began to suffer from his erratic behavior. Fights within the Comanchero became more frequent, and one member even lost his life. Mark's approach to leadership caused fractures in the club, weakening its structure and causing discontent. Despite the chaos, Mark felt invincible, convinced no one could challenge his authority. However, his actions were setting the stage for future conflicts and challenges to his rule, both from within the club and from law enforcement. Legal troubles and imprisonment. Mark Buddle's life was a series of legal battles. In 2014, he found himself in trouble in Queensland. He was arrested for a violent brawl at a club and for making serious threats against a police officer and his family back in 2012. The charges were severe, but this was just the beginning. In 2015, Mark made a bold attempt to flee Australia. He chartered a private plane for over $50,000, planning a luxurious getaway to Nauru with his girlfriend and daughter. However, their plan fell apart during a routine stop at Newcastle Airport. Border Force officers searched the plane and discovered more than $60,000 in undeclared cash, hidden in various bags. This led to his arrest for money laundering and attempting to smuggle cash out of the country. Mark tried to blame his girlfriend, claiming she handled the paperwork and most of the money, but the authorities weren't convinced. These legal troubles highlighted Mark's desperation and the lengths he would go to escape the law. Despite multiple arrests and a brief stint in jail, Mark's criminal activities continued. Each run-in with the law chipped away at his invincibility, drawing more attention from law enforcement and making his operations increasingly difficult. Formation of the Sydney Commission. In 2020, Mark Buddle set his sights on revolutionizing the drug trade in Australia. Inspired by Lucky Luciano's mafia-style operations, he aimed to create a drug cartel known as the Sydney Commission. The goal was to bring together the biggest names in the Australian drug trade to control and stabilize the market. Mark noticed that meth prices had fluctuated wildly, dropping from $250,000 to $80,000 within a month due to a lack of organization. His solution was to tax drug imports from major players. In return, he promised a safer environment for their operations and more stable prices. By uniting these powerful figures, Mark hoped to establish a monopoly, ensuring higher profits and reducing the chaos in the drug market. This strategy had an immediate impact. Drug prices began to rise again, signaling that Mark's efforts were gaining traction. His new approach aimed to create order in a previously volatile market, enhancing his influence and control over the trade. However, this bold move also drew more attention from law enforcement, as they began to notice the changes in the drug landscape. Mark's ambition to form the Sydney Commission showed his desire to be a key figure in the international drug trade. Downfall and final arrest. Mark Buddle's downfall began with a heated incident in Dubai. An English tourist allegedly disrespected Mark's wife, leading to a violent confrontation. This incident made Dubai too risky for Mark, so he fled to North Cyprus, a territory recognized only by Turkey, with no extradition treaty with Australia. It seemed like a safe haven, but it didn't last long. In July 2022, North Cyprus authorities arrested Mark and quickly deported him to Turkey, declaring him a threat to public peace and security. His lawyers argued that local politicians were extorting him, but the pleas fell on deaf ears. Turkey didn't keep him for long either. By August 2022, Mark was deported back to Australia, where he was immediately arrested. This time, the charges were serious. Mark was accused of importing 160 kilograms of cocaine into Melbourne in May 2021, a haul worth around $40 million. Court documents revealed that between March and June 2021, Mark had been planning to bring even more illegal drugs into the country. His final arrest marked the end of his reign in the criminal underworld, facing charges that could potentially keep him in prison for life. The law had finally caught up with him, closing a significant chapter in Australia's criminal history. Ongoing investigations and current status. In ongoing developments, investigations into Gary Alibon's tragic murder during an ATM heist remain unresolved. Despite a substantial $1 million reward offered since 2020, no arrests have been made as of 2024. Authorities continue to seek crucial information to bring justice to Gary's family and close this case. These legal battles mark a significant chapter in Mark's tumultuous journey from biker club leader to international fugitive. His abrupt return to Australia underscores the severity of the charges against him and the complexity of his legal predicament. As investigations into Gary Alibon's murder persist and Mark's court proceedings unfold, the public remains engaged in the unfolding saga, highlighting the ongoing impact of these cases on communities and law enforcement efforts nationwide. As these investigations unfold and legal battles intensify, what do you think will be the final outcome for Mark and the resolution for Gary Alibon's case? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing story and other intriguing investigations. Hit the notification bell to stay tuned for our latest videos.